ほら、ルフィ、今一緒に海賊になる仲間を探してるんだ。
Hello guys, welcome to my channel The Wandering Zoro, your go-to destination for anime-related content. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest videos. In today's video, we're going to be diving into this series, so be sure to stick around until the end, and let's get started. A figure awakens from a thousand-year slumber on the top floor of an old castle, stands up, and walks over to the window, presumably surveying everything. People had changed their clothes, their style of speaking, and their appearance in comparison to the previous few thousand years, and now they possessed some form of superpower, which they called quirks. The same person observed a people walking passes to his castle and copied their clothes, as well as scrutinizing every structure of their body and creating his own appearance. He vanished from where he was standing and reappeared outside the castle. The man continued walking until he reached a city, where he saw hundreds of people. His eyes light green as he reads and steals all of their knowledge. Then he vanishes and travels to the only person he knows. Meanwhile, on a certain heroic school, an academy that boasts the best heroics education in Japan. It sits atop a forested hill that overlooks Musutafu, a stout man who appears to be a possible combination of several different animals, including a dog, a mouse, and a bear, which would make him a chimera. He is the head of a mouse with circular black eyes, a large scar over the right one, relatively rectangular-shaped ears with pale pink insides slanting outwards from the top of his head, and an elongated muzzle with a small round nose. His fur is white and has large, dog-like paws with pink pads and a thin tail like that of a cat. He sports a white dress shirt, a dark red tie around his neck, a black double-breasted waistcoat and matching dress pants. He wears orange lace-up sneakers with incredibly thick soles which seem to be quite large on him. He was seen sitting on his office after finishing all the paperworks. He was about to take another sip on his tea, but his irises shrank as he sensed a familiar presence approaching him. He stood up and sank to his knees. As soon as his knees touched the floor, the familiar entity appeared in front of him. As he spoke, "Unknown character, my lord. Unknown character. It's been a while, Nezu." The familiar person responded, as Nezu tilted his head and smiled to him. "Nezu, welcome back, Lord Izuku." "Izuku, how long it has been?" "Nezu, it's been 4,500 years." As they enter the room, Nezu offers the man a seat and a cup of tea. "Izuku, is this where you live?" he asked before taking a sip on his tea. "Nezu, this place is just like an old Greek academy. The difference, it's now called school, where we teach knowledge and skills to students." "Izuku, school? I need to know more about modern world that has changed so much." Then Nezu bowed his head down in front of him. "Nezu, I'll make sure to tell you of everything." As he continues to explain everything, including heroes, villains, and the world's and humanity's abrupt changes as a result of the introduction of quirks. "Nezu, my lord, I have a spot for you to stay if you like it." "Izuku, I appreciate your offer, but I still have my castle, and I'll see you there tomorrow," he replies as he rises from his seat and vanishes on his place, leaving only burnt dark stains on the floor. Nezu breathes a sigh of relief since just being near his lord gives him a dreadful feeling, and if he were a regular person, he'd pass out at any moment. As Nezu said under his breath, "Nezu, the king, is back." "Izuku, I want to see your strongest disciple." He said this while standing by the window, watching the moon shine, with Nezu standing by his side. "Nezu, I can't guarantee that he'll remain the most powerful, but I can show you his successor, my lord." "Izuku, successor? Interesting." "Nezu, hi, but please, bear with him, he is still a kid and learning." "Izuku, I'll try. You know how much I despise a brat. Also, call me Izuku when we're in public." "Nezu, hi." "Izuku. His name?" "Nezu, Bakugo Kitsuki." The next day, Izuku and Nezu were seen walking on the UA hallway, catching the attention of every student passing. "Who's that man with the principal?" While Izuku flashes a dazzling smile that pierces every girl's heart, his piercing eyes, emerald green irises, attractive and yet adorable young man. Nezu thoughts. Nothing changed, still an eye-catching. Izuku looks at Nezu and nods as they come to a halt in front of a massive door with a 1A attached to it. He then let the mighty rat god go inside first and wait for his call. He learned how the U teachers introduced others, and in order to avoid arousing suspicion to the people around them, he chose to follow the regulations. Meanwhile, the pupils were taken aback when their principal came to meet them. Nezu, I have some exciting news for you today. We have a special visitor who will be observing you for the upcoming battle trial. Oh, what? Nezu, be quiet. He's not just a regular person. He's one of the reasons why this school was established, so treat him with respect. Please come in. The door opens. They see a man standing 6 feet 5 inches tall with green messy hair with black highlights, piercing eyes, emerald green irises, a strong jaw, and bold eyebrows that add to his gorgeous face. The atmosphere changes as soon as he enters the room. His presence is too overbearing, making it difficult to breathe. As they get up and bow, the students can't shake the presence that slapped them in the face just a second ago. They couldn't believe the person who Nezu mentioned as one of the reasons why the #1 school in Japan was created has that incredibly scary presence. Oh, welcome to our class. They shouted to greet the person in front of them, while sweating bullets, as they saw him place his hands to his pocket. Izuku, too noisy. The class. They freeze in place, having tried their hardest but failing miserably, while Nezu simply facepalms since he has forgotten how much his lord despises it. Izuku. I'm Izuku Midoriya. As your principal said, I'm here to observe all of you. Now introduce yourself. The students immediately obey him and introduce themselves one by one. Izuku noticed the terror in their eyes as he chose to hide his presence. Nezu was surprised to hear him speak fluent Japanese, because they had been conversing in a dead language since last night, as Izuku glanced at the blonde spiky-hair boy before returning his gaze to Nezu, who simply nodded in response. Izuku sensed a powerful presence a split second later. Izuku thought, someone is approaching, as the door slammed open and saw the #1 hero made an appearance. As the hero walked in front of Izuku and extended his hand, which Izuku accepted. All Might, you must be Mr. Midoriya, the man that Principal Nezu has talking about. He informed me about a person that will observe our class today, so it's nice to meet you. Izuku, nice to meet you too, boy. All Might was taken aback when he heard him say boy, which he chose to ignore and instead focus on the children as he proceeded to explain the subject. After about 30 minutes, Izuku and Nezu were seen standing inside the monitoring room, watching All Might explain the test guidelines. Izuku, newbie? Nezu, hi, it's his first time to teach. Izuku simply nods in response, and the students, along with All Might, enter the room, leaving a 4 outside. All Might, you can start in 10 minutes. He said into the microphone that was heard from outside and the whole building, as Izuku observes both teams from the monitor. Team A, Kendo and Uraraka. Hero. Team B, Bakugo and Ida. Villain. All Might, fight is ready. Fight. Both teams divided in half, with Ida remaining at his place to guard the explosive, while Kendo searched for Bakugo and Uraraka searched for Ida. Bakugo, do you think you can hide from Emi? Die. He barked like a rabid dog as he used his quirk and create a multiple explosion to fully demolish the wall, showing Kendo shielding her body with a gigantic hand. Kendo, looks like you found me, she said with a sneer on her face. She swings her hands at him, delivering him a massive slap that sends him flying against the wall, causing him to force himself to stand up and wipe the stains from his mouth. Bakugo, you will pay for that. Die. He begins to throw another tantrum, this time totally catching Kendo with a massive explosion from his palm, before activating the quirk that All Might has bestowed upon him and rush to the almost knock Kendo and punching her in the face, sending her flying and knocking her unconscious. Bakugo, I'm not done. Die. As he pointed his gauntlet to her and about to pull the trigger, his classmates and All Might scream his name to stop, but no avail. Looks like the guest needs to intervene. Inside the building, someone grabbed Bakugo's gauntlet, and they saw Izuku standing in front of him with a serious expression. Izuku increased the force on the grip, shattering the gauntlet into pieces. Bakugo tried to pull his hand away, but Izuku caught it and gripped it as well, causing his vital fluid to stop flowing and turning his hand into purple, causing Bakugo to scream in pain and pass out. He and Bakugo vanish into his place, leaving a trail of purple smoke and white specks that resemble the galaxy. He reappears in front of everyone, clutching the knocked-out Bakugo in his hair, before dropping him and whisper. Izuku whisper, "You made a wrong choice, Toshinori." He whispered it in a quiet, solemn tone that only All Might could hear, and it made him tremble for unknown reason. Izuku walked out of the room after dropping Bakugo in front of everyone, followed by Nezu, leaving everyone speechless and puzzled. Nezu was seen in his office, sweating bullets and apologizing to his lord with his forehead touching the floor. "Nezu, please accept them sincere apologies for the commotion. Please pardon them. I'm going to make sure you never see anything like that again." "Izuku, I didn't ask for your apology. Stand up," he said in monotone, as Nezu immediately obeyed him. "Nezu, hi." "Izuku, now I'll ask you a question. Before taking your students, did you do any research about them?" "Nezu, sorry, but no, since there are too many of them, and there aren't enough workers, and we can't just hire someone and trust them." "Izuku, come here." Of course, Nezu obeys as Izuku places his index finger on the mighty rat god's forehead and shows him the memories of that brat. Nezu couldn't believe what he was witnessing. He witnessed everything Katsushita had done over the years, including illegal quirk usage, bullying, suicide baiting, and many other things. After viewing everything, his eyes widened as he took a long breath. "Nezu, let me handle this, my lord. We will talk to him after his recovery," he said as his expression turned into serious, which received a nod from Izuku in approval. After that, Izuku decided to take a walk around the city. He continued to learn about this new world with each step he took, despite the fact that he was meant to be the only person who knew everything about them, from their beginnings to their secrets. But the trouble is that his power hasn't fully awakened yet, as it did thousands of years ago, because he only awakened from slumber a few days ago. After that, he returned to his castle to watch the night sky and moonlight while remembering his experience thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago, no humans were around at night like this. They were all within their individual dwellings, hiding from the many creatures that lurked around. But that's all changed today. Humans now can walk freely, because as many people will defend them. Izuku, humans. How does it feel to know that no one is threatening your life? Enjoy it while you can. Because once my power has completely awakened, all of the creatures from the past will descend upon this land. The monsters used to hunt him down because they were greedy, and also because of his immeasurable power. He began to attract all kinds of creatures, and some of them even attempted to battle him but were crushed in a split second. Anyway, Izuku have already decided, since all he can do is observe, disguise himself as a Japanese citizen, and laze around, why not try something new? He'll try to become a teacher, and try on teaching all of his students to be respectful children, rather than that brat earlier. The next day, Nezu approves Izuku's request to be a teacher because he owes some debt. As they were seen on the teacher's lounge, and Nezu decided to introduce him to the entire U-Dota personnel. "Nezu, I called all of you because I have an announcement," he said in serious tone, causing everyone to flinch, as they heard a dramatic drum beat play around the room, making everyone's sweat drop instead. "Nezu, this gentleman next to me, is a new member of our faculty, a new professor." Since Nezu taught him how to act and move like a typical teacher, Izuku stood up and bowed. He's also dressed appropriately, in a complete black tuxedo. "Izuku, the name's Izuku Midoriya. It's nice to meet you, everyone." Everyone was shocked from the news, as All Might stand up on his seat and slam his hand on the table. "All Might, but he injured one of our students during their first battle trial." That shocked everyone, as they glared at him, but Nezu made them stop by slamming his own cue on the table. "Nezu, to clear things up, I want you all to see this before you judge him," he stated in a serious and a little angry tone, which made them tremble seeing this new side of their superior. As the mighty rat god showed the footage of the combat and how Izuku intervened. "Vlad, But that's still not a good reason to injure our student. Present MIC. I agree with you. Nezu, did I say I'm done? He cut, and they looked up to see a giant floating screen showing all that Brat had done in the past, as they turned their gaze to Izuku and Nezu, and noticed they were looking at All Might with a tinge of disappointment. All Might thoughts. Could it be the meaning of "you made a wrong choice, Toshinori"? Nezu, now, that's the second reason I summoned you all. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that kid before I make my final decision. Vlad, I agree that he is aggressive, but I never expected him to act in that manner in the past. Present MIC. He is really prideful but still good fighter. Midnight. Lack of control on his anger issue, but his grades are surprisingly good. Izuku. Why not punish him and give him redemption? Allow him to change his past mistakes. You know, I'm not that cruel, so I'll give him another chance. And if he continues to do it, I won't hesitate to blocklist him from every hero school around the globe. As he stood up from his seat, he went in front of the door and left a word saying, Izuku, since I'm now a teacher, I'll force them to learn to push above their limits and achieve their full potential. I'll educate them the way I want, regardless of how much you despise me. I'll do whatever it takes. He uttered, before leaving the room and closing the door, that left everyone stunned. Since it isn't Izuku's time to teach them, but another teacher, he was seen sitting on the swivel chair in Nezu's office, sipping on his tea, as he sensed a violent aura approaching. The alarm system then rang. Izuku thoughts, HM. He stood up and looked out the window, where he noticed a group of reporters attempting to get into the UA, but Aizawa and Present MIC were on hand to deal with them. His eyes came across a rusty spot on the ground. Izuku thoughts, someone is hiding behind all of these, something a normal reporter would not do. He sighs as he returns to his seat and resumes drinking his tea. The commotion faded down after a few minutes as he heard the door open. Izuku, mind if I ask, what's your business here, Brat? As the chair in which he is seated spins around, he is now facing the person who walks in. He saw a slim man with pale skin, tinged yellow teeth, and wrinkled a great deal around his eyes. His lips are chapped and uneven, a small mole on the right underneath, with visible scars on his right eye and under his lip. He has messy grayish-blue hair of varying lengths, the longest clumps reaching to about his shoulders, left hanging over his face in uneven waves. His eyes are usually stretched wide in a rather maniacal manner. Unknown character. Who are you? You. He asks, surprised, because according to the information they have, no one is present on Nezu's room, including Nezu himself. So who is this guy? Izuku. Oh, how impolite of me. My name is Izuku Midoriya, but that's irrelevant. What matters right now is my question. What are you doing here, Brat? He said that with a smug grin on his face, which he noticed that it irritated the brat in front of him. Izuku. Ooh, did I wound your pride? Poor child. With that, the brat looses his cool and bends down to drop his palm on the floor, totally rotting it. Nevertheless, what surprises him is when his quirk stops working before the rust reaches Izuku. Izuku, do you really think you can kill me with just a melee power? The brat was startled when he asked with a blank expression, and then a purple mist dude appeared behind him and spoke. Unknown character. We need to retreat for now. Shigaraki. Shigaraki, let me kill him first. The brat now known as Shigaraki responds while scratching his neck as he rushes to Izuku and prepares to kill him. But Izuku simply flicks his finger and for unknown reason it shivers down on Shigaraki's spine, causing him to come to a halt on his track. Shigaraki, what the hell is that? That scared me for a second. What? His hands fell on the floor, ripped into thousands of pieces as he looked down in fear before screaming in pain. The purple mist rushed to him, and the two fled the office. Izuku, come out. You have a meal now, he said to someone, as a double-headed snake come out from his sleeves and proceeded to devour the human flesh on the floor. The next day, he received word that Class 1A was holding a rescue training and ushered with 3 teachers to assist them. Izuku was currently seen standing within his castle as he heard someone's voice on his head, which he recognized as Nezu using telepathy. Nezu, my lord. Izuku noticed the crack on his voice, and he already knows something is off. Izuku. Nezu. I need your permission. Villains were attacking the students in Usch. Izuku. Where are you? And how many villains? Nezu. I'm in Usch along with some teachers. I think their number is about 300 to 500. Izuku. I'm going. Make sure to evacuate everyone before I come. Nezu. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Izuku then vanishes from his castle and reappears at the USJ, and flicked the Birdman head, sending it flying, then blocked the hands of the same brat he encountered in Nezu's office as he was ready to touch the hobo man's elbow. Izuku, take your students and run, he remarked to the hobo man without even looking at him. Izuku solely focused on the brat in front of them, while Aizawa was surprised to see the new professor there, as he looked at Izuku's hand, assuming it had decayed, but it was still the same as before. Izuku, are you deaf or what? With that, Aizawa quickly obeys after hearing this new teacher's voice alter abruptly, like glitching sounds, as he orders his students to leave the Usch. As Nezu suddenly appeared beside him and went to his knee while looking at the ground. Nezu, I've finished the job, my lord. Izuku, good. I'll give you a permission to use your power. Nezu, really? Izuku, nod. Nezu, hi. As he stood up, his body began to change. He lost all of his purr. He began to grow taller. His hair from his head began to grow longer, and he now has a human appearance. He resembles Izuku but has long white hair, a pair of piercing calm eyes, red irises, and stands 6 feet 0 inches tall. Nezu, shall we start, my lord? Izuku, make sure to annihilate every single one of them. Nezu, hi. The reveal of Nezu's true form shocked all of the villains present. They couldn't believe that the animal that everyone thought had evolved and get an intelligent quirk had even more secrets. Nezu's irises flashed red, along with a silky white energy flowing around his body, as he dashed to them and launched a kick on the air, creating a powerful gust of wind that was enough to send them away. Izuku, he sighs as he watches Nezu thrash the villains. Shigaraki orders the thugs to shoot him, but Nezu effortlessly dodges their attacks without breaking a sweat. Nezu, a long rage? I see. Then I'll give you a pay fight. Then he began to float in mid-air, and a series of white portals with a small red light appeared behind him, revealing a variety of weapons, including swords, lances, hammers, axes, and polearms. As Nezu raises his hand and sways it onward, soon the blades puncture the villains. The hand-on brat and the purple mist dude were stunned as they watched their minions got instantly killed. Shigaraki, impossible. How? How? Nomu. Kill that thing, and leave his lord to me. Same to you, Kurogiri. As the bird-like man rushes up to Nezu at an alarming rate, shocking our rat god and impressing Izuku a little. But Nezu just simply vanishes and reappears behind that Nomu thing, before delivering an axe kick to his shoulder, destroying half of his body and sending him back to the surface, which shattered into pieces and cracked into dust, while our boy Izuku was unaffected. As Shigaraki dashed to Izuku, but he noticed that Izuku just sighed then. Thunk! Izuku walks passes to him seemingly out of nowhere, but Shigaraki begins to have difficulty on breathing, as he feels a slight pain in his chest and soon notices a liquid dripping from his chest and mouth, which he soon realizes blood. He looks at Izuku before taking his last breath and sees his hand covered in vital fluid while holding a heart that's still beating. Meanwhile, Nezu rushes down to the ground to finish the job, landing completely on the Nomu's head, drilling his foot into it, and killing the biotech beast. As he gazes upon his lord, Nezu, I finished the job just like what you want, my lord. Izuku, yeah, and you impressed me. Nezu, thank you. Izuku simply smiled and walked away as the purple mist dude fled the Usch, leaving only Nezu and Izuku standing. Nezu soon followed his lord and transformed into his chimera form. Izuku then snapped his finger, causing everything to vanish, including the villains, corpses, and all much like Nana Shimura. The two continued to exit the Usch, where they discovered that the Class 1A, as well as all of the UDOTA personnel, were waiting for them outside. They rushed over to them and asked them about what had happened inside. Nezu, Mr. Midoriya offered them a one-on-one fight, but when he went into his fighting stance, they fled without even telling the reason. He cheerfully said completely lying, which made Izuku sweat drop but. Luckily, for some reason, they buy on it. Well, not really because there's no reason, but Izuku corrupt their minds using some kind of magic. Nezu, please, don't tell anyone about this, or else our school will be the center of controversies again and many reporters will try to break in like yesterday. They nod in agreement, which now makes Nezu question how they've been falling for his ridiculous logic in the first place. But he only sighed as they all went their own ways. The Class 1A, along with 13 and Aizawa, returned to the USJ, while Izuku returned to Nezu's office with Nezu. Izuku, it's been a while since I last tasted food. Nezu, oh, we can go out right now. Since it's lunchtime, I know a good restaurant. Izuku, sure. A few minutes later, the two were seen riding in a limousine towards the restaurant that Nezu had mentioned, as they stopped at a fancy restaurant that impressed Izuku and was noticed by Nezu, as they exited the car and invited their driver to join them for lunch, as they went inside and found an available table. After that, the waiter arrived and handed them the menu. They were ready to order after a few minutes. Nezu, give me a tempura and udon with your finest tea. Izuku, I'll try your udon and nabe with this sake. Waiter, udon, nabe. What about you, sir? He asked the driver, who's still looking at the menu and picking a cheap food. Nezu, don't be shy. It's my treat, so eat as much as you want. Waiter, can I? Then can I have yakitori and ramen? Waiter, coming right up. The waiter then gave their orders to the head chef as they awaited their food, which arrived very quickly. As they began to eat, Izuku was impressed by the taste of the foods. It appears that not only their appearance and strength have changed, but also their taste of food and cooking methods have changed over thousands of years. Meanwhile, Nezu is having a dramatic moment while sipping on their finest tea, and the driver is crying tears of joy while eating, feeling honored and fortunate to be eating with his respective boss and another teacher. Izuku, waiter please. The waiter rushes up to him, as Izuku orders more foods, causing Nezu's eyes to widen as he watches him order a huge yakiniku and kushikatsu. Nezu then turns his gaze to his driver and asks, Nezu, what about you? Do you want more? Driver, wait, can I really? Nezu, I told you, it's my treat too, it's okay. Driver, hi. As the waiter approached them and asked about their orders, the crew were surprised to learn that the three of them had placed so many orders that they had nearly drained their kitchen. Well, what did we expect? Nezu is filthy rich. The death of numerous number of villains. The death of their bioengineered human. The death of their masterpiece Shigaraki. All of these were ringed on a two-person system. They couldn't get the images of the massacre out of their heads after hearing the stories from Krogiri. It's as if the image of the massacre was incredibly clear in their heads, the way Nezu transformed into a human, the way that man ripped out Shigaraki's heart. Unknown character. Did you get that person name? Krogiri? A deep and chilling voice of a man asked. His face is heavily deformed with a scar tissue from his upper lip to the back of his head and neck, resulting in his loss of eyesight. He also has two tubes connected to his throat which allows him to breathe. Krogiri, no all for one. But based on what I heard, Nezu is calling him, my lord. Unknown character. So the smartest person in the planet are serving on someone. A voice of an old man coming from behind asked, catching the attention of Krogiri. He turned around and saw a fairly old man of a portly and short stature. He is completely bald and has a very large and bushy mustache. He wears a rather peculiar set of goggles that are shaped somewhat like gears, along with a white, buttoned-up lab coat. AFO, Dr. Garaki, you told me yesterday that the Nomu we sent with them is stronger than All Might, right? The doctor, now known as Garaki, nodded his head on respond. Garaki, yes, and I'm 100% certain of it, and if it's got defeated, that simply means that someone considerably more powerful than All Might could be lurking somewhere. AFO, do you have any suggestions of how we will let him come out? Garaki, I have, but it will require a lot more power than we had previously, and we must use that item. AFO, Krogiri, show me the stone. The purple mist dude quickly obeys him without hesitation as he opens a large vault, which releases a massive amount of frigid air as soon as its massive door opens. As the vault begins to open on its own, it reveals a green glowing stone with a root from below running upwards. As the stone glow brighter and start on releasing a air-like energy. Garaki, what a wonderful sight. AFO, this is the key to rule everything. They said while looking at the stone like it was some sort of a god. They start believing on the power of that stone 17 years ago. After All for One suffered the greatest defeat of his life at the hands of All Might, which is a result of his deformed face, he flees, leaving All Might to believe he is dead. He crawls like a zombie until his body collides with someone's foot, whom he later discovers to be Dr. Garaki, who is busy looking for a test subject for his experiment. The doctor heals him, and they quickly come to an agreement. Garaki will serve on All for One, and All for One will provide him with all the test subjects he desires, until a large energy blast blew through the spot where they were hiding, utterly destroying their laboratory and hiding place. However, they discovered a green glowing stone in the center, and, out of curiosity and believing that it was the cause of their base's explosion, All for One chose to touch it. And shocking them is the stone's magnetic power astounds him. It's as if it's drawing him into space, but it quickly stops, and the quirks he have developed double in number. And now, the stone is currently in their possession. AFO, I'm not sure where this stone came from, but I have a feeling it was given to us on purpose in order to destroy this society. He stated with an ugly grin. Meanwhile, our protagonist felt the large energy engulf the entire sky, but it quickly faded down. Izuku, that is familiar. He muttered under his breath before shrugging it off and continuing to read a newspaper while sipping on his tea. As he heard a cooling sound on the window after a few minutes, and his eyes widened as he turned his attention on that area, where he saw an all-white man with a bat-like characteristic crawling outside his castle's wall. Izuku thoughts, they starting to come out. He heard the creature's voice and it sounded like it was crying and starving, not because he was unhappy or hungry, but because of the center of Izuku's immeasurable power. Then Izuku swayed his hand to open the window, inviting the creature to come inside, which it did and flew towards him. But Izuku simply raised his hand and opened his palm, releasing a massive black flame that turned the creature into nothing, as he put down the newspaper and proceeded on wearing back his usual clothes when fighting some monsters. He then vanished inside his castle and reappeared on the roof, ready to hunt down all of the monsters that will prowl the night. Izuku, since ordinary people can't see any of you, I assume I'll have to drag you all without attracting attention. Yes, monsters are invisible to humans' eyes, only those with special traits and truly terrified. People can see them. That's why, thousands of years ago, all of the monsters' victims were like them, unique and traumatized individuals, and Izuku was the one who protected them until the day he took a long nap. The next day, after defeating a couple of monsters that had been lurking the last night, Izuku was seen walking towards Class 1A. As he opens the door and saw Aizawa standing in front of the class. Aizawa, Yosh, the new teacher, or as you should call him, Mr. Midoriya, will be in charge of teaching you from now on. Please come in. As Izuku walked in front of them, well, he shocked and terrified the entire class because of what they just remembered from the battle trial. Izuku, like your teacher said, I'll be the new teacher in charge of teaching you. If you don't want to be like that brat, be sure to act like proper students, he said in a calm but menacing tone, which sent shivers down their spine. As he looked at Bakugo, who was wearing a quirk-canceling cuff because it was Nezu's order or else he'd have to say goodbye to his career. Speaking of Bakugo, the teachers have decided not to expel him. However, he will have to wear quirk-canceling cuff that will only be removed when there is an activity that requires him to use his quirk. He will also need to attend an intensive therapy with a hound dog until he proves he can change, and if that happens, they will visit all of the students he bullied in the past and make him apologize to them. Izuku, shall we start? Oh, hi. They immediately respond, not wanting to mess up with him, as Izuku gave them a smile and proceeded to his lesson, his like a professional, like it's already happened before. The next day, Izuku was seen standing in the door of their classroom. Izuku, where your PE? We're going on a trip. Oh, YEA. They were about to yell, except for the girl named Momo, the half and half boy named Shoto, the robotic dude named Ida, and the enraged Pomeranian. But they quickly quiet down, though, when they notice their teacher's expression. As they stand up and continue to the changing room, everyone is finished within a few minutes, as they come outside and see a bus waiting for them with Izuku is already inside, sitting next to the driver. Izuku, hurry up. We only have 5 hours. They board the bus without any questions, and the driver drives them to the spot that Izuku has specified. After a few minutes, they arrive in a wooded area with a wide field. Izuku, we're here, he said, as everyone exit the bus and line up. Gyro, Midoriya-sensei, what are we doing here? Izuku, for the next 5 hours, this will be your training ground. Our initial workout will improve your stamina, physique, and strength. Now give me 100 push-ups. Oh, what? Izuku smiled. Is there any problem? And that. They quickly obeyed him and began to try their hardest not to fall out of a freaking 100 push-ups. So, what did we expect? Their days in hell have already begun. Izuku subjected them to rigorous training that caused the majority of them to pass out from exhaustion, such as making them to push a massive boulder or making them sit beneath a powerful waterfall, among other things. At the end of the day, the class was seen walking back to the bus with the smiling Izuku waiting for them inside. Izuku, man, you guys look rough, but don't worry. Once we get back on UA and you wash up, I'll treat you lunch, so get on. That brightened his students' gloomy faces as they hurriedly boarded the bus. And an hour later, just as their sensei promised, they were all seen eating their foods out at the same fancy restaurant that Nezu had shown Izuku. Okiko, yummy, she said, while sticking her index finger into her face with drool streaming from her mouth. Same goes for her classmates. Izuku, go eat as much as you want, because we will resume your training tomorrow. Oh, hi. The progress of their training paid off over the next 2 weeks, and now most of them can use their quirk on proper way. They still haven't reached their full potential, but that's okay, since Izuku is still standing and still available to teach them. Izuku is currently seated in the teacher's lounge with the other teachers because Nezu has scheduled another meeting. The reason? It's for the upcoming sports festival. Nezu, since the sports festival will begin in the next 2 weeks, I'd like to inform you all that, following the invasion of USJ, I've decided to increase our surveillance 5 times over the previous years. Ectoplasm. That's actually a good idea. Paoloda. I can also help by upgrading the school security system. Present MIC. Yeah, baby. There's a lot of people there for sure. I can shout as long as I want. Vlad, I have a question, Mr. Midoriya. Everyone came to a halt and turned to gaze at him, as Izuku simply nodded. Vlad, I heard you put all of your students through intensive training. How can you manage to look into those kids' eyes? Have you ever considered that they will detest you and begin to regard you as a harsh, wicked, and full of darkness person? Izuku, that's a simple question. It's because those kids are the stars. Now he confused everyone, as they continue watching the interaction of the two teachers. Vlad, what do you mean? Izuku, because stars won't shine without darkness. He responds, then rise up from his seat and exit the room, leaving everyone speechless just as he did when they first met him. Oh, good morning, sensei. Izuku, good morning. Now go back to your sit and be quiet. I have an announcement today, he said as they quickly got back to their sit, but they were confused on what's his announcement. Izuku, the fight is still not over. Bakugo, what? Fight? Ojiro, don't tell me. Izuku, Udota Sports Festival is starting soon. It will prove that Udota management and student is foolproof as ever. On top of that, we'll have 5 times more surveillance than the previous years. Also, Sports Festival is a good opportunity. Our Sport Festival is an important sports event in Japan. There was a famous sports event called Olympic Games which brought excitement to the entire nation. But nowadays, it's much smaller scale and has fewer participants. Only the form remained. Now, Udota Sports Festival replaced Olympic Games in Japan. Yaoi Orozu. Needless to say, all pro hero will spectate to recruit in turn for their agency. The Yaorozu heiress proudly say, getting a nod from her classmates. Kaminari. Usually, Once you're qualified to be a hero, you have to go an internship first as sidekick. Gyro. But there are always some who can't be independent and are forever sidekick. I feel like you'll be like that. Kaminari. Because you're dumb. That destroyed him and decided to lay his head to his desk. Izuku. Needless to say, if you enter a famous agency, you'll get more experience and exposure. Your time is limited. If Pro scouts you out, you'll have a bright future ahead of you. Once per year. 3 chances in total. If you want to be a hero, you cannot miss this opportunity. If you're determined, go prepare yourself. Class, hi. Izuku, dismiss. Then, during lunch, Izuku was spotted walking around the cafeteria alone, as he see his students eating together. Kirishima, join us, sensei. Izuku, I appreciate your offer, but I'm not hangry. He declined, which the rest of the class understood as he continued walking, and someone had accidentally stumbled over him, spilling all of the food all over his clothes. Unknown character. Oops, I didn't see you. New guy. A voice of an arrogant. Izuku looks down on that idiot since he's much taller than him, and saw a young man of average height. He has left parted, slick blonde hair and silvery, periwinkle eyes, with a smug and arrogant look on his face. Izuku, you didn't see me? Then apologize, brat, he said with a smile and his eyes closed. Now they've caught the attention of everyone in the cafeteria, and Class 1A who is now sweating bullets, praying to not see what they witnessed during their first battle trial. Monoma, don't call me that. I have a handsome name. Nito Monoma from Class 1B. Now introduce yourself, new guy. Izuku, I'm asking you to apologize, brat, he added, which results of Mohima's head grow a tick mark. Monoma, you monster. Do you know whose my father is? Izuku, or poor child, he don't know who's his father. Izuku responded with a taunting tone and a smug grin on his face that literally pissed off Mohima, and received a few snickers from the students, as he saw Mohima scowl at him and attempt to attack him. But, Izuku, on your knees. Boom. It's as if there's a magnetic force drawing Mohima's body to the ground, a tremendous amount of force. As he tilts his head and glares at Izuku. Mohima, release me, you monster. Then our boy bent down to Mohima's face level and looked at him in the eyes. Izuku, apologize. Mohima, I will kill you. He didn't finish his words as he felt a few tap on his face and saw Izuku tapping him with a small smile while his eyes were closed. Izuku, a spoiled brat like you need to learn the reality about this world. I wish to talk to your parents tomorrow. That was the last thing Mohima heard that day and for the next 2 months, because Izuku continued on tapping his face before giving him a massive slap. He was sent flying against the wall, creating a loud explosion sound that completely terrified everyone, as the teacher immediately rushed on the cafeteria and saw the sight of the knocked-out Monoma and Izuku with his clothes drenched and have a lots of spilled food. As they rushes towards the two, while Vlad along with Aizawa, Ectoplasm, and Cementos went to check Mohima, while Nezu, Midnight, present MIC, check on Izuku. Nezu, Mr. Izuku, what happened, hey? Midnight, did you hurt another student again? She asked in angry tone with her face almost touching Izuku's as they were interrupted by a voice coming from behind. Unknown character, I can explain. A voice of a girl was heard behind. They turned around and saw a girl of medium height with green, thorn-covered vines for hair. One set wrapped around her forehead a couple of times in the shape of a cross. Her vines are at reasonably manageable length, just above her waist. Her eyes are squinted and dark green with long lower eyelashes. Nezu, who might you be? Ibora, please excuse my rudeness. My name is Shiozaki Ibora, and I'm one of Monoma's classmates, from Class 1B. As she begins on explaining what happened. Meanwhile, Aizawa checks to see if the boy is still breathing, which he discovers that he is, as they gaze at Izuku and hear the vine-haired girl's explanation. It's no surprise why this brat was beaten up. Izuku, take him on recovery, girl. He might be not participate on sports festival. Then everyone look at him in shock. Midnight, what do you mean? Izuku, he will never leave the hospital for a while. He has a few broken ribs. That's the result of his body colliding against the wall. He respond, which made everyone even more shocked and afraid of him, as he leaned his face down next to Midnight Face and whispers something to her that causes her to blush. Izuku whisper, "You look even more beautiful when you're angry." Then he stands up straight. Since his shirt is drenched, he decided to rips it off as he turns around and walks out of the cafeteria. A week before sports festival, Izuku was seen walking to the U-Dot hallway. Since there's no students around, because everyone is busy in training for sports festival, he decided to take that opportunity to check everything in U.A. Then, someone bumped into him. Unknown character. Oh. He looked down and saw Midnight and a file of papers scattered around while she's holding her head. Izuku immediately sat down and helped her on the papers. Raita-san, look at that face. What? She's freaking cute. Izuku. Sorry, I didn't see you coming. Midnight. No, it's okay. As she helped him on picking up all the paperwork. Izuku. By the way, what are you doing here? I remember everyone have a 2 weeks off. Midnight. Well, I forgot to bring this paperwork last week, and I just decided to finish it home. What about you? What are you doing here? Izuku. Nezu called me here. He wants to talk about something. Do you need some help on that paper? Midnight. No, my car is outside. As they stand up, and then Midnight about to trip again. Luckily Izuku was there and quickly caught her. Izuku, you really need help. Midnight, but... Izuku, let's go. He cut and grabbed the papers from her hands as they walked outside with a noticeable pink hue on Nemuri's face. They arrive after a few minutes, as Izuku drops the paper on her car and then Midnight bow. Midnight, thank you. Izuku, don't mention it. By the way, there's something in your face. Midnight, what? She asks as she look at the mirror. Midnight, there's nothing. Izuku, there's something, a beauty. Nemuri's face turned into red like tomato, as she cover her face and glance at him only to find out that is nowhere to be seen. He already left, leaving her flustered and speechless. Meanwhile, Izuku was seen sitting on Nezu's office along with Nezu. Nezu, my lord, I wish to ask something. Izuku, Nezu, did you felt that energy engulf on the sky last month? Izuku, yeah, that my power after all. Nezu, and I have a bad feeling about it. Izuku, so you feel it too. Then prepared yourself for the next week. Nezu, hi. A week later, Izuku was seen in the stadium, sitting on a teacher's seat, along with the other teachers, watching his students pursuing each other in order to win the obstacle race. As Nezu looked at him, Izuku stood up on his seat, causing everyone to be confused. Nezu, where are you going? Izuku, I need to do something important. He said in serious expression that take them aback a little, before vanishing on his spot, leaving a trail of purple smoke and white specks that resembled a galaxy and burnt marks on the floor. Now Izuku was seen standing in a quiet street, in front of a house. He opened the gate without using the doorbell, placing his both hand on his pocket and continue on walking inside, till he arrived at a sliding glass door. Before he kicks it, causing the glasses cracked and scatter, revealing a group of dude inside and a logo hung in the center of the wall. The 8 Precepts of Death. Izuku looked at them blankly as he read their memory. Unknown character. Who are you? A arrogant dude remark. His tall and lean young man with light, almond-shaped eyes, their irises visibly small, with prominent dark circles around them. His hair is chin-length and a bright golden blonde color, worn parted to his left so that it obscures his right eye. He has a wide mouth with particularly straight teeth and thin eyebrows that are usually pointed upwards. These, and the notable wideness of his eyes, giving him a permanently crazed look. Then someone tapped him on his shoulder and spoke. Unknown character, leave this to me, Setsuno. He turned around and saw a massive, hulking man that wears a black tank top, green jeans, and orange sneakers. Like the rest of the Shy Heisaikai, he wears a trademark plague mask. Setsuno. Rikia. The huge dude nodded as he turned his gaze to Izuku, who's just looking at them like earlier, completely blank expression, as he closed his eyes. Rikia, now tell me, what are you doing here? Izuku, I'm here to kill every single one of you, he said in serious tone and at the same time opening his eyes, revealing a flashing crimson irises, that made everyone tremble. Unknown character. Do you really think you can kill all of us? He stutters as they attempt to attack him, but all they get is a gigantic purple sphere that swallowed them and turned them into dust. Rikia, you monster! He shouted as he tried to punch him using his gigantic fist, but Izuku just quickly stopped it by simply glaring. Then Izuku appeared in front of his guts and kicks it, sending him flying and destroying several walls of their base. Izuku, I told you didn't die? He asked in calm but scary tone, as he raised his hand and opened his palm, before releasing a purple, white, black light that after a second turned into blast. As Izuku skinned the whole place and find that little girl room. It all started an hour before all of this happened. He come across on a man in a store who accidentally bumped into him. Since Izuku felt an horrible energy coming from that man, he decided to review his memory without him realizing it. Now, Izuku was seen in front of the little girl who's trembling while trying to hide herself using her pillow. Izuku, what's your name, little one? Not wanting to scare the scared little girl, he asked in a soft tone as she revealed the half of her face to look at him and saw him offering his hand with a calming smile. Izuku, I'm here to protect you and take you out here. In exchange, you need to tell me your name. I'm here to protect you and take you out here. The little girl felt safe and protected after hearing those words, his soft voice, his calming aura, his beautiful crimson irises. Soon she didn't realize that she finally accepted his hand. Hey, I am Eri. He was seen standing inside his castle, holding the sleeping Eri on his arm, after rescuing her from the 8 precepts of death without causing any issue. Izuku, poor child. His hands glow green as he taps the little girl on the back and proceeding to heal her. After a few minutes, she begins to wake up, slowly opening her eyes to see the sight of her savior, smiling softly at her. Izuku, I told you didn't I? You're safe now, he said in soft tone, as Eri wrapped her arm around his neck and started on crying on his shoulder. Eri crying, thank you, please don't leave me. Izuku, I'll never leave you, I promise. He responded while gently brushing her hair, making the small girl feel safe, loved, and protected. Izuku had a little smile on his face with his eyes closed as she looked at him. Hey, Mr. Izuku, you can call me whatever you want, but not Mr. Hey, okay, Papa. Izuku, Chotomat. Izuku was seen walking back to his seat an hour later, but this time he was dressed differently. He was wearing a crimson tuxedo, black trouser, black necktie, and a pair of black shoes. He appears to have arrived too late to witness the entire event, because it's finally time for the students to receive their medals. Izuku watches as his students are called up to the stage, with Katsuki taking first place, Shoto second, and Tokomi and Ida third. Unfortunately, Ida isn't present because his mother has phoned him regarding to his brother. All Might, hey, they're the winners this year. But everyone listen, anyone here could have ended up on these podiums. It's just as you saw, competing, improving each other, and climbing even further. The next generation of heroes will definitely rising. So I have one more thing to say. Everyone please say it with me. Now everyone getting hype up, as All Might raise his hand and point his finger on the sky. All Might, ready? Thanks for your hard work. Crowd, plus ULTR. Boom. A explosion was heard from the sky, interrupting everyone's moment. They looked up at the sky and saw a giant bird made out of flesh. Izuku, yeah, he said under his breath, which Nezu saw and smirked at, as Izuku flicked his finger, generating a large veil, large enough to cover the entire stadium, and then flicked again, knocking everyone pass out except for Nezu, Overhaul, and his puppets. Izuku, carry her for me. Nezu, hi. He responded as he transformed into his human form, making the Yakuza eyes widen in shock, as Nezu take Eri from Izuku. Izuku, I want to hear my favorite music. Bang! A gunshot was heard, aimed at Izuku's face, but before the bullet impacted him, it came to a halt and returned to the shooter. Izuku smirked as he saw the individual who tried to shoot him, who was sobbing on his knees and wailing in pain. Izuku, not bad. Soon 100 of Yakuza come out on the dark tunnel, facing the two in the middle of the stadium, as Overhaul walk in front. Izuku, Overhaul, let's make a deal. If I win and I successfully slaughter you all, you will go with me. And if you win. Now I'm just kidding, I'll win this. He said smugly. Same goes to Nezu, pissing the bootleg chicken, as he vanishes in his place, leaving a trail of purple smoke and white specks that resembled a galaxy. The Yakuza group heard a scream from behind them, which alerted them, and they turned around to see two people, one sitting on the file of their almost dead members, which was covered in their own vital fluid, and the other holding the separate head of their three strongest members, which he threw in front of them. They were all consumed by their fear, terror, and horror. Izuku, now, who's next? He said in loud, venomous tone before releasing a massive bloodlust, giving them a dreadful feeling that was enough to make them fell into their knees and cause the air to be heavy, making it hard to breathe. Their mind went blank and asked themselves, what a bloodlust, what is this? Is it Fae? Izuku didn't hold back his bloodlust as the other person swung his knife, creating a gigantic wind-shaped life sword that split them in half before revealing himself to be also Izuku. While the other Izuku proceeded to wander around them, making the atmosphere more heavy, resulting for them to pass out. Izuku, let me see your best dying face. As he flicked his finger once more, a chain appeared on his hand, along with a 2-gallon container on the ground. He swung the chain and wrapped them together and proceeded to splash the gallon of water on them using some sort of telekinesis. Nezu noticed the smell as different and come to realization as he saw Izuku make a flame on his hand and blow it towards them, burning them alive. Izuku and Nezu were seen sitting on a tree watching them scream and suffer without them realizing, since they are still out of conscious, as Izuku smiled hearing his favorite music again. Izuku, our screaming won't solve your sin. After a few hours, they're nothing more than human-shaped ashes that turned into dust when Izuku pulls out his chain. He grins and opens his mouth, his teeth slowly turning into sharper than anything you could imagine, as he created a swirling whirlpool of darkness on his face, absorbing everything, leaving nothing but an empty field remained. The following day, Izuku was spotted sitting on a bench with a smile on his face, watching his daughter play with other children at an amusement park. Eri is no longer afraid. He'll do anything to make her happy, no matter what it takes. Izuku, my lovely daughter. Thousands of years ago, there was a legend about a massive creature with 6 arms and 4 horns, making the majority of people worry during that period. A troop of heroes and knights has been sent to protect a certain kingdom. Among them, there is one man who stands above the rest, the one who commands the heroes and knights' forces. Nezu Excalibur was his name. Because of his skill, he was named after a famous sword. He, like the mythical sword Excalibur, possesses the ability to use magical powers. One day he was given the task of keeping an eye on the woodland. They had successfully checked the entire forest with the other knights and were about to return home, until a bush moves unexpectedly, alerting everyone. The knights exchange nods as they draw their swords and spears and direct them at the bush. They continue walking, before they can even move or chop the bush. The monstrous creature appears. He resembles every description given by others. A massive masculine man with 6 arms and 4 horns on his head, as well as long, untidy black hair. Their eyes widen, their feet begin to shake, and they become lost in thought as they rush on attempt on exorcising him but fail. The monster tosses them around like rough dolls, thrashed them around with his bare hands, tearing them in half. Meanwhile, their leader, named Nezu Excalibur, was stunned, standing there watching his men to beg for help, watching them to die helplessly. He couldn't believe what he just witnessed. He is truly a demon. This task is just a suicide. Nezu, no, get away from me. Demon, why? Are you afraid? Nezu, you can speak. Demon, are you afraid? Nezu, like hell. You killed my comrade, and now you're asking if I was afraid. Who? Demon, I did nothing. They're the one who attacked me. Nezu, demon, I can't deny that. But do you heard about me hurting people? No, right. Now, I will say it again. They're the one who attacked me. and that words pierce through the strongest knight hero mind. Yes, there be no reports of the devil harming anyone. They've simply witnessed him going by, unconcerned with whatever creature he passes. Demon, they're the one who attacked me. Nezu, just who exactly are you? Demon, Tartarus. Nezu, Tartarus. Tartarus, I'm the third primordial deity. Tartarus. Nezu, like hell I would believe you. Tartarus, HM. So it's true, sometimes a small dog bark louder. Nezu, what did you just call me? Tartarus, I never said it's you. Nezu, huh. Tartarus, become my companion. Nezu, what? Tartarus, join me, and I'll show you the truth of this world. Nezu, are you kidding me? And it is his final statement before the demons knock him out and drag him away. He later wakes up inside a room and assumes that he has been rescued. But, to his surprise, a man enters who resembles the devil but only has 2 arms. The horn had vanished, and his hair had become green. Tartarus, looks like you get yourself a nice sleep. Nezu Excalibur. Even his voice was the same. Nezu saw an axe besides and immediately grabs it and attempt on killing Tartarus again, but he end up flying in the air. Courtesy of Tartarus. Tartarus, you cheeky brat. Even with that kind of act, Nezu attempted killing Tartarus or suicide multiple times. They continue to live, as Nezu begins to be used around him, revealing that the demon he believed to be terrible and vicious was nothing but a lie. He is compassionate and behaves more like a human. Tartarus, I see humans, but no humanity. He treats him as if he were his own child, taking him to the underworld to show him where all the god's adversaries are imprisoned. And when Nezu reached the age of 50, Izuku chose to give him 5% of his power. This granted him immortality and the ability to shift into whatever animal he wishes while also communicating with them. Tartarus changed his name to Izuku after 1,000 years. He created a stone that can store his strength, but because it is too powerful for Nezu, he will explode if he gives it to him. He resolved to encase his power in that massive stone, divide it into 10 pieces, and scatter it across the universe. Prior to falling into a deep slumber, Nezu, and this planet has one of those stone lands. Earth, the wellspring of human eccentricities. Their talents, their powers, their capability, the origins of the heroes and villains. Everything was made possible because of him. The next day, the heroes and those who witnessed the incident during the sports festival were frightened, unable to believe what they had witnessed. Some of them tried to inform the authorities, but they only receive a reprimand for making false claims. Yes, there are people who are already awake before the incident ends, but their claims are ignored owing to a lack of evidence. Even the number 1 and 2 heroes, All Might and Endeavor, couldn't shake the feeling. They haven't had to face this dread in their professional lives. Those bloodlusting creatures, the manifestation of unfathomable power. It was surreal. They believed that if they disobeyed or moved, their lives would be cut short at that moment. Izuku is seen walking down the corridor towards his classroom. Then he sensed a presence behind him and a set of arms hugged him from behind, causing him to sigh and turn around to see Midnight lovingly burying her face to his back. Nemurai, you know, I found you very cute and mysterious, and that's my type. Izuku, is that the reason of this sudden hug? Nemurai blush. Yes, I can be your friend in exchange of your nude. Silence. Izuku, what? Nemurai, nothing. As she pulled go of the hug and attempted to flee, Izuku appeared in front of her, causing her face to collide with his chest, nearly knocking her to the ground. He did, however, catch her, place both hands on her hips and make eye contact with her, giving him a complete view of her face, causing her to blush profusely. Izuku, I'm so dumb to not notice that you're too beautiful. That caused her to blush even more, along with the steam coming from her ear and top head. Izuku, meet me at my office later. I have something to ask. She merely nods as Izuku releases her and proceeded to head to his classroom, where he sees his students returning to their respective seats. Meanwhile, Nemurai stayed away from her class. She instead went straight to the principal's office, where she found Nezu sitting near the window. Nemurai, principal. Nezu, about him? Nemurai, how? I mean yes. Nezu, what do you want to know? Nemurai, I'm sure you have a lot of knowledge about him, and I'm simply curious about his character. Has he had any previous relationships? I suppose he has a former marriage because he has a daughter, or anything else that might jeopardize my relationship with him if I ask him to go out with him. Nezu, no. No one will stop you. And that girl is not his biological daughter. He may be cold or cocky at times, and he may despise everything. But he has never loved before, and I believe it is time for him to learn about the matters of love. Midnight. I see. Nezu, and let me tell you a little secret. Midnight. Huh? Nezu, he is my master. Midnight. The day ended as we saw her approaching a certain office with the name Mr. Midoriya inscribed on its door. As she knocked and received a come in from the inside, she opens the door and saw Izuku standing near the window, staring at the never-ending beauty of night sky. As she walks beside him, gaze at his eyes. Nemurai, I'm here. Let me hear your question. Izuku, have you ever heard about Tartarus? Nemurai, the famous prison? Izuku, no. The third primordial deity. Nemurai, oh, yeah. Why? Izuku, I want to tell you a very important secret of mine. Nemurai, huh? Why? Izuku, because the best proof of love is trust. And I never loved before. Nemurai, love. He nods as he begun to explain his past. About him and Nezu, him being the myth known as Tartarus, him being the origins and creator of Quirk and Universe. Izuku, that's right, God walks among humans. Nemurai, I see. Izuku, did I talk too much? He asked with a small giggle, which made Nemurai smile a little. Nemurai, no, I'm listening. And about the thing you said earlier, you said you have something to ask. Izuku, oh, yeah, if nothing lasts forever, can I be your nothing? Nemurai, you are God, and I'm sure you're aware of my answer. Izuku, that's why I love you. As he turned to face her and pull her closer to him, he placed his left hand to her hips and grabs her chin using his free hand. And they share a passionate kiss under the bright lights of moon in the never-ending night. 3 years later. Izuku, welcome to the world, my children. Nemurai, they have your eyes. Izuku, and your hair. Yep, that is right. Nemurai gave birth to a twin, a boy and a girl, the first children of the god of Abyss, the first demigod in their universe. Izuku, I should name you Typhon and Echidna. Nemurai, do gods still use that kind of names? Izuku, we're not Japanese, love. Nemurai, oh. Then comes the major time jump. His duplicate grows up with incredible physical power and the capacity to morph into various species. Typhon is an immortal entity who can turn into a dragon with 100 dragon's heads, as well as control ice, wind, fire, poison, and possibly the ability to murder deities. He was given the title of Deadliest Beast at the age of 25 years old. Echidna, like her father, is clearly eternal, has the capacity to transform her lower body into a serpent. Her venom can also be used to destroy her foes. When her victims are poisoned, they can become insane. Echidna is a half-nymph-like maiden with glistening eyes and fair cheeks. They are particularly protective and at the same time scared to their older sister Eri. While they continue to live among humans with their mother and father, their father continues on doing his job by defending the world in the dark and being a teacher for future generations. By killing all those monsters before they can even harm anyone, Nezu and Izuku also raid the base of the League of Villains and retrieve the power storing stone, and leaves none of them alive. LOL, they're not like Naruto who cares about everyone past. The past is not part of their concern. The first-year students have already graduated, are old, and a few have already died. And bye. So, this was the end of this series. Stay tuned for next part of this series, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.